appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone that is tuning in right now, this is Dave Portnoy, president with Barstool. Dave, the news came out pretty much last night about your team efforting your support for the Bristol Police Department. What went through your mind when you heard the stories about the two officers that were gunned down?
Yeah, obviously a tragedy. Really beyond words. How can you ever describe anything like that or put it into words? Uh, and that's it. I mean, there's too many stories like this, really. Police officers risking their lives every day. And I think sometimes people take that for granted. All like public service, whether police, fire, they wake up and you just never know what that day is going to bring. So just sadness and a tragedy. Really, that was my initial reaction to it. And then, we have a pretty good record, and it's something I'm proud of trying to help as best we can. Every situation is obviously different. Both these officers left behind families. But our readers and fan base and employees even, they ask for ways to help before we even can get it in motion. It takes a little time on our end. When I say a little time, a day, 2 days, to make sure, we have the right permissions, we know where the money's going, things like that. But we knew that we would try to do something to help. And we're not certainly the only way. There's other charities going. But we definitely have our fan base and readers who look to us for a way to contribute. Not that, money does anything for it, but any little thing to help the families.
Now, what exactly is Barstool doing for people that haven't been able to see what you guys are
Yeah.
offering?
So we generally have a pretty consistent way in events like this. We actually have we started something called the Barstool Difference, which is actually a charity arm and base for specific instances like this. But what we find over the past 20 years, for the most part, the best way for us to raise money is we generally put merchandise on sale, t-shirts, sweatshirts that commemorate, if that's the right word, but show tribute to the event that happened. People buy the shirts, and then we donate 100% of all the profits directly to the families. So that's what we're doing. The shirts are on sale. You can go to our website, store.barstoolsports.com. They're right up there. And again, 100% of the money will go directly to the families.
Now, to you, this is something that you do regularly. To these families and to the Connecticut community, this is unbelievable because this is taking a small knit community of Bristol, Connecticut, the whole state of Connecticut, the New England area. Everyone has been rallying around these families, including the officer Alec Iarato that survived, and people are raising money for him. But you're taking it to a global level. So talk about the impact and why it means so much to you on that big of a platform to be able to do that for these families.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that the number one thing that besides money that you can bring to these causes is publicity, because the more people find out, the more they donate, the more people share the links. And again, there's other ways to do it, but just bringing awareness to it. And it's not even the specific cause. I mean, obviously, I don't want to go too deep, but there's police enforcement and stuff like that. It's been a controversial topic, obviously, the last couple of years. And I think sometimes people forget that probably the majority of police officers are good and are risking their lives. So to me, it's just good to bring awareness that, they're still out there trying to protect people and putting their lives in danger, and tragic can happen at any moment.
And at a global response, and from everyone that you guys have been seeing at Barstool, how has the response been? How have the sales been so far supporting these families?
They've been great. So, I mean, the shirts really went on sale kind of yesterday afternoon ish. And this interview came about quick. So I was looking at it, and I'd say we're nearing about 400,000 or 500,000 like gross sales on it, seems to be at the numbers. And we'll continue to push it and hopefully continue to, raise as much awareness and money for the cause as we can.
And lastly, what is your message for the families, both of the sergeant and the officer, as well as the officer that is still recovering? What is your message for their families?
I don't even know how you give a message there, because I like, how can anybody, unless you've been through that exact experience, put themselves in their shoes? I guess the only message would be there's, a lot of people thinking of them, and that's about it. I mean, again, it is such a horrible tragedy. I don't even, what do you say to that? I have no idea. I can't imagine it striking like my family directly. So there's just a lot of people thinking, and really, looking out for them as best they can.
Absolutely. I don't know if you already heard, there is a Tunnels to Towers fund that is created by the Heroes Fund in Connecticut, and they're paying off their mortgages for
Yep.
those families, which is incredible. There's just such an outreach of support. So for you, seeing that not only you are doing something incredible and your organization doing something incredible and your charity organization, which many people I don't think even know about that exists, it must feel pretty good to be able to provide that comfort and help,
Yeah,
like you said.
and as crazy as the times, I think there's far more like good people than there are bad, and a lot of people when something this tragic strikes, you see, the good people come forward and want to help, really, and there has been an outpouring, which again, that doesn't. If I'm a family, that does me no probably solace at this point, but at least people are trying to help.
Now, lastly, how did you end up here? Did you end up hearing about this through the news, or did I think Austin mentioned that you might have had someone that is from Bristol?
Yeah, we have an employer. He goes by the nickname of Spider. Dan Dioro is from that area. But I mean, I start getting emails instantly. I didn't like see it in the news, but I saw it in the news. But people right when it happened were starting to say, "Hey, what can we do to help?" And then again, it is kind of getting your ducks in a row to make sure everything is done properly. And that is a good thing about Barstool at this point. I think a lot of people do have trust in us because we've done a ton of charity work, whether Barstool Fund or before that, really throughout the history. So they know if you're buying a shirt, if giving us money, it's going to go to the right cause. So that's good. And that puts more responsibility for us to make sure in these situations when we can help that we do help.
Absolutely. Anything else that you want to say to the families, to the community, anything like that?
No, we're all thinking of you. That's really it.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I really
Yep.
appreciate it. I know you guys have a busy day ahead.
No worries. Take care.
All right. Stay healthy. Be well. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.